but they don't inquire about that. What is the truth of their thinking? How to validate your thinking. Every saint that we know of, they're always criticizing themselves as to whether they are thinking properly or not. What is that called? Self-abnegation. That's why devotees are very humble. They try to think, what is their thought? Is it proper or not? They don't just blurt out whatever they're thinking. It's kept that as the reality. This is the problem.
Maharaja, Aditinanda, el Maharaja está diciendo que estas discusiones, los tópicos son muy importantes discutir, porque si uno se queda callado y no hace preguntas, entonces las concepciones falsas o los argumentos que algunas personas propagan que no son correctos, entonces si uno se queda callado y no hay un debate, no hay una discusión, entonces los argumentos falsos se quedan como verdaderos. Por eso Shanta Maharaja, Srila Shanta Maharaja, Madhava Puri Maharaja y los devotos tenemos que contestar esas preguntas, porque si no las falsas concepciones no van a propagar. Entonces por eso nosotros tenemos que escribir esas discusiones, y es lo más apropiadamente.
Krishna. So that's why discussion is important. Huh? Discussion means you think about what you're thinking. To think about thinking. People think about things, and their thought and the things that they think about are the same. They don't question their thinking. They don't think about their thinking. But that's the important part. That's where we make progress, spiritual progress. What is that? Someone is asking a question.
Dhanava pranams, Maharaj. Faulty thinking corrected by association and guidance from Guru. From me, Ascended Prabhu.
Maharaja está diciendo que cualquiera puede pensar cualquier cosa, cualquier persona podemos pensar cualquier cosa, pero la cuestión no es pensar por pensar, o nosotros no estamos criticando nada, no estamos criticando por criticar, nosotros simplemente no estamos en ese humor de crítica, sino simplemente exponiendo la verdad bajo la guía del gurú, bajo la instrucción del gurú. Entonces uno habla por la instrucción de Gurudeva. Entonces esa es la actitud, no pensar solo, sino pensar bajo la instrucción del gurú.
Puri bol, Hariyananda Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Santa Maharaj ki jai. Thank you for your mercy for this poor soul.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj.
Hariyananda will be good English speaking.
He's a good preacher. He's a good preacher. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Maharaj, do you want to lead kirtan, or what do you want to do?
Maybe somebody else can lead, will be good, Maharaj.
Okay. Who wants to do? Krishna Kesava? Okay. You're disappearing all the time.
In the flowers.
And merging into the flowers.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita
Gadadhara
Shivasadi
Gaura
Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Advaita
Advaita Gadadhara
Shivasadi
Srivasadi Gaura
Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Advaita
Gadadhara
Shivasadi
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Rama,
Rama, Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Srila Saradev, Srila Santa Maharaj, Ki Jai, Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Jai, all glory to all the worldwide devotees Ki Jai, Jai Go Premanandi, Hari
Hari
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai.
Krishna. I'm always very inspired when I see the holy name being chanted in Spain, in America, Mexico, or South America, England, and where else?
India.
India, all at one the same time. It's like the whole world is chanting. Mahaprabhu must be very happy. Okay, page 38. Vandana. Vandeham Shri
Shri
Guru
Guru,
Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnava Sri Rupa Sagraja Sahagana Gauravanvitam Tam Samarvaitam Sadhurutam Paricharatam Krishna Chaitanya Sri Radha
Krishna
Krishna Sahagana Lalita Om Agana Tasmai Shri Puja Shri Guru Sada Purva Paya
Parampara, Prachasya
Bhakti Purva Vista Purva Guru Shri Prapanna Govinda Bharatam Vande Devam Devatam Shantaram Shri Shri Sananta Mayavara
Krishna
Namo Gorgi Namo Maharaja Krishna Krishna
Chaitanya Name Gaura Srinama
Mama Manda
Sri Madhava Sri
Praise the Sriman Rasa Gurun
Jai Sadhana Shri Guru Narayana Kandara Govinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Gurudev Srila Acharya Dev Srila Shanta Maharaja Ki Jai Jai Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Jai Go Premanandi Hari Hari Jai Sripad
Puri Maharaj.
Jai Sripad Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Niskam Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai Hare Krishna.
Just now, Jayananda called me.
Oh yes. How is he?
He's fine. He's doing some cow event, and he was telling that he may come sometime here. I said, okay.
Yes.
Now I told you.
Where is he now?
In Utah.
In Devon.
Utah.
Oh, Utah. What's the situation there? Did he say?
Well, he's busy with cow things. He's not much involved with our much.
Oh, he didn't talk to the devotees, just the cows. A very sweet devotee. Maharaj, do you have any bhajan you want to sing?
You want by anything that I should sing?
Hmm?
Any
Someone else?
bhajan that you like?
Or anyone? Do you like? Or anyone, if you don't want to?
Yesterday was appearance.
Maharaja, if you like any bhajan, I can sing.
I like them all.
I cannot sing all at once.
Well, you can do one. One
Okay.
would be nice.
Okay. So then we'll sing Kirupe Paibo Seva.
Huh? Which one?
Kirupe Paibo Seva Moi Duracha.
Oh, Maharaj, you're going to have to tell us where it is in the Kirtan
Oh.
guide, because we don't know that one.
Okay, I got it. Can I share? It is on the Pocket Kirtan Guide 61. 61 page number.
Sí.
কি রূপে পাইব সেবা মুনি দুরাচার
রূপে পাইব সেবা
মুনি দুরাচার
শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণবেরতি না হইল আমার
শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণবের গতি নাহিলে হামারা
শেষ মায়াতে মন মগন হইল
মায়াতে
বৈষ্ণবেতে লেশ মাত্র রতি না জন্মিল বিষয়ে ভুলিয়া অন্ধ হইনু দিবানিসি গলে ফাঁস দিতে ফিরে মায়া সে পিছাসি
গলে ভাষা দিতে ফিরে মায়া সে পিছাছি
মায়ারে করিয়া জয় ছাড়ানো না যা
মায়ারে করিয়া জয় জদনা না যায়
সাধু কৃপা বিনার নাহি কোপা
সাধু কৃপা বিনা নাহি কো উপায়
অদোষ দরসি প্রভু পতিত উদ্ধার এইবার নরতমে করো নিস্তার রূপে পাইব সেবা মুনি দুরাচার
রূপে পাইব সেবা মুনি দুরাচারা
গুরু বৈষ্ণবেরতি না হইল আমার
শ্রী গুরু বৈষ্ণবের
দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
We're talking about self-abnegation, self-critical nature of the Vaishnava. We can see it so perfectly expressed in Narottam Das Thakur in his songs. Not only self-critical, but also Krishna conscious to the Guru and Vaishnava. and thinking. Positive and negative. The material, I was thinking today, the material conception, positive concept, they call positivists. They see everything existing in the space continuum, the continuum of space and positive. But the time is also there. Time is the thing that causes everything that is there to pass away. So there's the coming, there's the P that's coming into existence, and there's passing away. Space is the coming into being, and time is the passing away of that. Of course, nothing passes away, nothing disappears, but it also comes again. But in order for there to be change, there has to be positive and negative. So change is the coming to be and the passing, ceasing to be, that is involved in movement. Movement or change means that something is, and then it is not. Then something else is. So there's movement. And philosophy is called becoming. Coming to be and passing, ceasing to be, is becoming. So the coming to be is the space coordinate, and the ceasing to be is the time coordinate. So space and time, positive and negative. So in all, everywhere, there's positive and negative. Must be both. Thesis, antithesis. And the continuing process, maintenance, is also there. That's why we need both space and time. Sometimes people look only at the space. They only see things as permanent. They're told when Socrates is sitting down and when he's running or walking. When he's sitting and walking, is it the same person? Is it the same object? Object is changing, but yet Socrates remains the same. Although he's changing, he still remains the same. So there's two principles at work. One that's positive and one that's negative. Because in order to be able to move, he has to negate where he's at. That be something there, and then something that changes that negates that there. So it can be at another place. Negation doesn't mean annihilate. It means change. Change doesn't mean annihilate. Although something, like when a flower is growing, the leaf is there, then the bud comes, then the flower comes. So the leaf has the negation of the stem, but the stem doesn't disappear. It just becomes something else. And when the bud comes, it negates the leaf. And when the bud disappears, then the rose comes, transforms the bud into the rose. And when the rose comes, then the seed is there. The seed that from which the plant started is there. So the cycle begins all over again. Seed produces the stem produces the leaf produces the bud produces the rose. Like that cycle. becoming, cyclical becoming. That process is going on over time. It's appearing in space and disappearing in time, and changing in time. So the process of that reality, the spiritual reality, is going like that. It appears in space and time for the material vision, but for the spiritually enlightened person, there's an eternal process of producing itself. Spirit is that which produces itself. Life produces itself. Matter doesn't produce itself. We don't see matter reproducing into male and female matter or any type of reproduction. Only in the living. The reproduction occurs within the living thing itself. From the baby, he produces his own growth. The growth is occurring within the baby himself. And what is he producing? He's producing himself in different stages of development. It's all coming from within. But in organic matter, we don't see that. Matter only grows by accumulating other matter to itself, like a crystal. They can't do it from within, produce itself from within. That's the secret of creation. People say, how are things created? But the creation is an ongoing process. Nobody, even the scientists, they can't tell us what is that process by which a living entity creates another living entity. And at the cellular level, there's a process called mitosis. And they could watch it happening. They can see the cell duplicating itself, the material of it's called the chromosomes. They can see them splitting apart, making a duplicate of themselves. But how it happens, they can't say. It's like a miracle. It's miraculous how it happens. If you see it in a video, you can see how intricate the molecules, the molecular level, these imaging programs they have that images what's happening at that level. It looks like a miracle happening. Even to see the chick embryo developing, they have different stages of that. It also like miraculous occurrence. They have no idea how that's all happening. That's the mystery. That is the inconceivable Shakti of the Lord, of spirit, not material. Can't be explained in terms of chemistry and physics. So we can directly experience our spiritual nature, not something that we have to have belief in. People think there's only matter. They're not very attentive to what is going on. They don't have very much awareness. They become so enamored by the scientific theories that they forget. They become unaware of how all the things that are going on that are inexplicable in terms of mere physics and chemistry. How is thinking happen? How is willing happening? Molecules can't do that. Feeling. Well, there's something more going on in life. Living, reproducing, what do you call that? Sensitivity. Those things don't belong to molecules, but that is there, part of our experience. Then how do we explain those things? So there has to be another dimension, another category of substances beyond the material, and that is spirit. That is Krishna.
Srila el Maharaja. El Maharaja habló un poquito, disculpa que es algo general lo que te voy a decir, no es textual porque no tengo la cualificación, pero bueno, tratando de seguir lo que percibe mi corazón, el Maharaja está diciendo que el universo es por ciclos y en el universo se producen cambios, siempre hay cambios naturales, pero podemos entender que hay dos aspectos, negativo, un lado negativo y un lado positivo, ¿vale? Y si nosotros nos dejamos llevar por, como decía Sócrates, acerca, que se hacía preguntas acerca del objeto que ve, o quién observa al objeto, de una explicación ahí bastante profunda, pero más o menos lo que estaba dando a entender que Sócrates hablaba de quién es el observador del objeto, y el Maharaja estaba dando a entender que ese observador es el alma, que en el mundo material también se presentan ciclos, todo es el constante cambio. Ese es el secreto del universo, el constante cambio, pero que nosotros debemos ver los cambios, pero dentro de nuestro corazón, dentro de nosotros mismos también podemos ver, observar esos ciclos que también se dan. Entonces, pero nosotros debemos acercarnos al proceso en el cual esos cambios, o sea, nuestras condiciones, nuestra mente o nosotros nos conectamos es con el lado que va hacia la verdad, o como dicen los gurús, hacia el centro. ¿Y cuál es ese centro? El Señor Supremo. En forma general estaba hablando eso, también habló de un proceso físico, químico, que la vida no viene de la química o físico, no, la vida viene de la vida. La vida no viene de química, de los científicos, de laboratorios, no. La vida siempre proviene de la vida, pero las personas materialistas, los científicos materialistas, siempre hablan acerca de que la vida viene de los productos químicos o sea, y ya, y cuando morimos ya, o muere el cuerpo, ya se acaba todo. Y el Maharaja está diciendo que no, que la vida viene de la vida. Más o menos en ese estado es que nosotros tenemos que ir, siempre estar pendiente acerca de esos asuntos.
Gracias.
You sound like a scientist. What do you think? You are talking about that in Puri, Srila Maharaj?
I talked about that in Raukala. In Puri, I talked about the Sankirtan, the influence of Sankirtan on mind, body, and soul. Many of them, they were thinking Sankirtan means playing the mridanga and kartal. Things. I have told them that Sankirtan means glorification of the Lord under a qualified devotee. That can be done by many ways. By fighting also, and writing, through science. Many ways we can do. Engaging our activities to satisfy Lord of these devotees. And for that qualification is the Mahaprabhu's, suggestion or advice. Tinadapi Sunichena, Tavadapi Sarasna.
Shravanam Kirtanam.
There were many kirtan, parties. Many villages of Odisha gathered that day there.
Do they think it's just music?
They're thinking like that. And they are telling, oh, this music has this influence, that influence.
That's the chance of singing dance, huh?
Yeah. They have tested this vibration, that vibration. Some doctors are saying they have tested this vibration influence this organ, that organ, like that.
Do they still get some benefit? When they do like that?
Which one, Maharaj?
If they just sing and dance like that for entertainment, do they still get some benefit?
Our scripture says that, it only the name, but not the name letter, but not the name proper. Sadhu-Sanga by Krishna Nam Nai Hoy, Nam Akhyar Bhaire Vare Nam Kare. In the bad association, if we chant the holy name, then that is only the letter name, but not the name proper. Sadhu-Sanga Krishna Nam Ematra Chai, Samsat Nitya Pranosto. Association of Sadhu, if you chant, then you can cross over this matter.
Only the form, no substance, huh? Okay. Now we now go to Prapanna Jivanamrita. Continue our reading. Can you go to that page? 147. Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivraja Kacharya Satata Sata Sripad, Bhakti Rakshak Goswami Maharaja ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Prapanna Jivanamrita ki Jai.
Jai. Jai. Srila Bhakti Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Text number 13, page 147. Chit Swarupashyaiva Sri Krishna Parabhakti Atash Sane Guna Eva Brahmabhuta Prasanatma No Sochati Na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Tatraiva means from this is from the Bhagavad Gita. A person who has realized his constitutional spiritual nature engages in transcendental devotional service unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Therefore, such devotion is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. The Bhagavad Gita says, by knowledge of the non-differentiated absolute truth. One can achieve self-satisfaction, freedom from lamentation and hankering, and perceive the equality in all beings. And above this, he engages in transcendental devotional service unto me. So this Brahmabhuta, when one recognizes that the Bhuta, the living entity is Brahma, is of the nature of Brahman, spirit. Prasanatana means he becomes satisfied. Like a fish out of water is always flipping around, having a hard time wanting to, dying actually. As soon as you put him in the water, he becomes happy. He can live his life swimming around. Same thing with us. We are spiritual, Brahmabhuts. They have a spiritual nature, transcendental to this material world. While in this material world, all we're doing is anguish, flipping around in so many difficult ways, so many miseries, birth, death, old age, disease, other people, the weather, so many problems are there. Can't feel happy. Only when we come to recognize our the spiritual nature of the self. There, when it's free from desire, no sochati, no kamchati. Not having any hankering or lamentation. And he sees all living entities in the same spiritual condition as himself. He recognizes they're all spirit souls. They're all struggling with misidentification or forgetting their proper transcendental nature. Then, Krishna says here, if you come to that platform, then eventually you'll come to me when you meet Vaishnava. And you meet the devotee who is engaged in service, that by their company, by their association, we can learn how to engage in service to the Supreme Absolute, personal Absolute, Bhagavan. Not the Brahman, but the Bhagavan. Swayam Bhagavan. All right. You want to say something?
Whereas about transcending the three mode of material nature, actually it is only possible by some higher, help beyond this mode. Whatever is cultivated in these three modes, within these three modes, that will not help us. We'll go beyond that. Devotion means it has to come from above. We cannot get it done by our ability.
People think they don't need guru. Like a man drowning in the ocean. What can he do to save himself? They think they can save themselves. But if a man's drowning in the ocean, can he save himself? What he will do? That is our position. In the modes of material nature is like that. Only if someone is out of the ocean in a boat or something like that, they can help get us out from the ocean. And even if you are lost in the forest, another example. You don't know which way is which. In the deep forest, we don't know how to get out from the forest. Only if somebody knows the path through the forest, then we can easily follow them and get out. So this idea that we don't need any help, they don't recognize, they don't realize the very difficult situation they are in, the ignorance that they are surrounded by. They don't realize. They think, oh, I can do this myself. Here's a book, I'll read it. Not like that.
That is all karma and jnana.
Was it?
That is all karma and jnana.
Karma Gyan. Bhakti Mam Abhijananti. Krishna says. Not karma or Gyan. What is that? Not karma or Gyan. Gyanamam. Huh? No, he doesn't say.
Bhavanam janmanam ante jnanvan nam pata.
Gyanamam. But he says, Bhakti Mam Abhijananti. I can be known by bhakti. He doesn't say karma mam abhijanati or jnana mam abhijanati. He doesn't say that. The bhakti mam abhijanati. And how will you learn that? How will you get service if there's no one to serve? That very nice song that you sang today, Maharaj, that bhajan, I made this point very nicely. Nartam Thakur. That is a real understanding.
There also it says in that song, Maharaj, Maya re koriya joy chhadano na joy, sadhu kripa vina nahi ko upay. By winning over Maya, nobody can cross. Without the mercy of sadhu, there is no other way. Same thing also told in Gita. Mama Maya Durutaya.
These scholars know nothing about mercy. I think it's all knowledge. And above knowledge is mercy, love.
What is the difference between scholars and theistic intelligence? The scholarship and theistic intelligence. It is for self-satisfaction, the knowledge for self-satisfaction, and the other is knowledge for satisfaction of the Lord.
Yes.
Guru Maharaj used to say about highest theistic intelligence, Sumedasa.
Yes, in these scholarly writings and ideas, we don't find anything about surrender or mercy. These ideas are not important to them.
Somewhere I read Srila Maharaj told that some people think if scientific knowledge can come by some kind of research, why cannot spiritual knowledge can come? Some people may think like that. So, but that is all foolishness to think like that. Guru Maharaj says.
I couldn't understand. What did you say?
Srila Maharaj says some people think if there's scientific knowledge that modern society is so much charmed that can come by some research from our ability, our own strength, and why not spiritual knowledge also? People may think like that, but that is not proper understanding. It is foolishness. We think it has to descend.
Well, I think that spiritual knowledge can come from the study of the world also, but that is only impersonal. And Vedanta says, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Says we must inquire about Brahman, must inquire about the transcendental nature. That's okay. And that means we can understand that we're not the body, that they're a spiritual being. And it's also a way, a very good thing. Even science itself, that Bob Wallace, remember our friend, Bob Wallace? He says even science is actually a spiritual practice because science means you don't accept what you see. We try to go beyond that, go higher than that, go deeper than that. So science is a kind of a spiritual process as well as any other inquiring process. And that's okay. We can understand by inquiring and diving deep into reality that there's something more than just this superficial existence. But to enter into the devotional stage, the loving stage, that won't help us in that area. That has to come from another plane, another source. Bhakti comes from bhakti. We need a bhakta for our hearts to be awakened to that plane. Srila Prabhupada used to tell us that pleasing the spiritual master is the secret of success in spiritual life.
This is from the home comfort knowledge.
What is that?
Home comfort.
Home comfort.
Here I'm sending in the chat. For a seeker of the absolute truth, submission to Guru is unavoidable. A class of thinkers believes, however, that when scientific research is possible, why not higher spiritual knowledge also be evolved from within? Such people are ignorant of the most essential nature of the absolute knowledge. That he alone is the absolute subject, and all else, including ourselves, constitutionally stand only as an object to his omniscient vision. It is impossible for the eye to see the mind. It can have some connection with the mind only when the latter cares to mind it. In a similar way, our connection with absolute knowledge depends mainly on his sweet will. We must solely depend on his agent or the spiritual master, to whom he likes to distribute himself.
That's true, huh? Absolute only comes when he reveals himself to us.
Maharaja, little Spanish. Dice aquí, Prabhu, en el libro Prapanna Jivanamrita dice, aquel que ha comprendido su verdadera naturaleza espiritual se ocupa con devoción en el servicio a los pies del loto de Sri Krishna. Por lo tanto, esa devoción es trascendental a las tres modalidades de la naturaleza material. Mediante el conocimiento de la verdad absoluta, indiferenciada, él obtiene la satisfacción del ser, se libera de la alimentación y del anhelo. No son.
No, okay.
¿Me escucha, Prabhu?
Sí, sí.
Okay. Entonces dice, y por encima de esto, él se ocupa en el trascendental servicio devocional hacia mí, el Bhagavad Gita. Y el Maharaj estaba explicando un poco acerca de que mucha gente piensa que no necesita un gurú. Las personas piensan, mucha gente materialista piensa que no necesita un gurú. Y un gurú es importante, porque sin un gurú, entonces no puede salir del enredo material. Entonces el Maharaj, yo es muy bonito, decía que si tú estás, alguien está perdido en un bosque, hay un bosque muy grande, y tú estás perdido y no sabes qué hacer, y tú vas a decir, no, yo mismo voy a salir de este bosque, yo mismo voy a encontrar la salida. Es una actitud de un loco, no vas a poder nunca salir del bosque, al menos que se presente un guía, un guardabosque, tú lo escuches, siga la instrucción que te va diciendo el guardabosque, va por aquí, ve por allá, cruza acá, y en algún momento tú vas a encontrar la salida. Similarmente, nosotros que estamos perdidos aquí en este mundo material, en este enredo, necesitamos la guía de que alguien nos diga, tienes que ir por acá, haz esto, no hagas esto, sigas esto. Entonces, ese es el gurú. Seguir al maestro espiritual te da, es igual que un doctor. El doctor te da una receta, te escribe esto, es esto, y tú lo ves, y te toma la medicina, todo eso. Entonces, tu salud va a estar bien. Similarmente, el gurú te ve a ti, te dice, haz esto, sat-cit-ananda, todo, haz esto, tómate medicina, ¿Y cuál es la medicina? Cantar el nombre, Sadhu-Sanga, Saranagati, rendición, todo eso. Entonces, bajo la instrucción del guru, entonces nosotros podemos salir un poco de este enredo.
Gracias, muy bonita la explicación. Está muy bonito el ejemplo del bosque.
Por la gracia de nuestros maestros espirituales, los Maharaj. Todo es for mercy de all guardian, all Maharaj. All is for the, todo es por ellos, por nuestro Maharaj.
Right. Okay, now, Maharaj, we go to the next verse. Number 14. Akila Rasamrita Murti, Sri Krishna Eva Gyani Gana, Mrigya Turiya Brahmano Mulashraya. And then this is from the Bhagavad Gita verse. Brahmano hi pratistaham amatasya vyayasya cha shasvatasya cha dharmasya sukasya kantikasya cha. Well, Sri Krishna, the embodiment of the entire compass of divine mellows, is the absolute source of the undifferentiated Brahman that the liberation is desired to merge into as the fourth state of the soul. Transcendental to the modes of nature as the axiomatic truth. Transcendental to the modes of nature as the axiomatic truth, replete with divine variegatedness of holy name, form, nature, associates, and pastimes. I alone am the mainstay and fountainhead of Brahman, the ultimate destination of the liberation is for jnanis. Immortality, immutability, eternality, the eternal sustenance of divine love, and the ultimate ecstasy of the divine mellows of Vrindavan or Raja Ras. All these are supported by me, the transcendental, variegated, axiomatic reality, Krishna. That is Sridhar's interpretation of this verse.
What is the other translation of Akila Rasamrita Murti? He says it a different way, but he doesn't write it here then. You know?
In the reservoir of all pleasure.
Yeah, but
Murti, is the form of the Lord, huh?
but there's
The Samrita, the nectar of the nectar or the reservoir of all pleasure. Akila Rasamrita Murti.
there's a very particular way that Srila Maharaj says it sometimes, right? It's like a
I don't know. He said that in many ways. Here he says the embodiment of the entire compass of divine mellows. Akila Rasamrita Murti. The reservoir of all pleasure. When people ask for the proof that Brahman is not the ultimate substance, and not the ultimate absolute, but that Krishna is the ultimate absolute. Here is the proof given in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. Pratishtaham means I am the foundation of the Brahman mind. So here Krishna says it very directly. Brahman rests upon me. So it's not that Krishna is some kind of manifestation from Brahman, but Brahman has its basis in Krishna. Aham. Krishna says here, aham. I. Pratishtha aham. I am the place upon which Brahman is to be placed. I am the pillar. Brahman rests upon me. Those who seek Brahman, they miss out on the holy name, form, nature, associates, and pastimes of Krishna. So they're missing a lot. So Brahman cannot be the absolute if it's missing so many things. Krishna is the complete absolute. All the satisfaction of Brahman is found there also in Krishna. Recognizing that we are spiritual, that everything is of the spiritual nature, that is there also in Krishna. But there is also this variegatedness, variety. Variety is the spice. Name, form, nature, associates, pastimes, etc. The eternal sustenance of divine love and the ultimate ecstasy of divine mellows, all to be found there, beyond Brahman and Krishna. Maharaja still there?
Yes.
Maharaj, do you want to say anything? What is?
So I don't have my.
No comment?
It's too quiet.
What is this fourth state of the soul?
Visuddha Sattva. Plane of non-dual existence.
What are the other states?
But how the Visuddha Sattva plane is different in different lokas.
Huh?
Visuddha Sattva manifests differently.
Vaikuntha and Dwarka and Vrindavan.
Does it mean Turiya?
Not affected by creation, maintenance, and destruction. But I think the gradation is based on the intensity of sat-cit-ananda.
So what is the first state of the soul?
First state.
Huh?
State of the soul is to experience the different what you can say dualities like sattva, raja, tama.
That's the first state.
No, that means the sattva or the tama. You can say.
Oh, Tama.
Three things. Yes. Tama, raja, sattva. Sattva. State of the soul means it's consciousness.
Well, isn't that waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and then Turiya?
And that is also there now.
Oh. That's what I understood.
Generally, the stages also compared with the gunas.
Waking, even at the waking stage of when the soul is awake, it is also Maya. It's actually an ignorance, Tamagun, and even the waking, because you see only the material energy. In sleeping, he actually goes back to a more holistic state of existence.
Activity of the mind.
Unconscious, but it's more holistic because Hegel made the point that sleeping doesn't mean everything disappears. Because when you go to sleep, you feel refreshed. So the reason you feel refreshed is because you come in contact with the unconscious, holistic state of reality, where everything is existing there. Something like Pradhan. Pradhan has the whole potential of the material nature within itself. Whatever appears in the material world is there, and Pradhan in an unmanifested state. Sleep is something like that, unmanifested totality of things. That's why when you sleep, you feel rejuvenated. Not that you have annihilated the world, something like that. And deep sleep is maybe even a deeper state of holism. Because sometimes when you're dreaming, there's still some variety there. some differentiation. But in the deep sleep, there's no differentiation. There's only the one.
Whereas devotees awakening or sleeping and dreaming, all these things are not same as the yogis, jhanas.
The what?
Devotees awakening or sleeping or dreaming, all these things are not same as the jhanis and yogis.
I can't hear what he said.
When the yogis are engaged in sleep and dream, is different kind of state than when devotees are engaged in sleep and dream.
Oh.
Akila Rasamrita Murti. This thing I was thinking of was the emporium of auras. Because emporium is such like a descriptive word, like emporium, like it's such super blissful place. So many different kinds of.
Emporium is like a department store where everything, different things can be found. What emporium is.
There's a movie called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Emporium is like a department store where so many different things are there to be found. If you look in there, you'll find so many different things. Like Amazon.
Maharaj.
Huh?
Maharaj, may I contribute a little, please?
Yes, I will.
In the notions of sleep and song, which you were referring to, like for example, number one, the thought, then the concept, then the idea, and then the development of it all. And as Hegel put it, that the nature of the mind, or Geist, or spirit, it is immanent, excuse me, my voice is there. The nature of the mind is immanent, restless process. Mind is self-productive and exists in thought, and through this it has self-production. Development is implicit, but from such implicity comes the explicit. In other words, Hegel frequently uses the organic growth of a tree. Trunk, branches, and fruit is present in the germ and in the seed. The seed is the whole life of the tree in its immediacy. And that life becomes explicit as its immediacy is mediated through the different stages of the tree's history. Hence, as a tree grows, all that happens is that what is implicit becomes explicit. But the development is a genuine development and change, because trunks, branches, etc. do not exist. We alter in the seed, even a microscope will not detect them there. As the seed grows, it differentiates itself into trunk, branches, leaf, etc. But when its growth is complete, it is a concrete unity, the tree as a whole, and not, as the seed was, an abstract unity, because it is now a differentiated and not immediate, undeveloped, immature unity. This encapsulates so much of the notion of the sleep within, as much as the seed is planted, water and right conditions make the seed germinate, and the potentiality of the seed can then manifest itself as long as it's nurtured by the nature. However, the differentiation within the cells And this is only to do with organic growth. How much more is it the human being as it's nurtured and grows and with association and so on? Dandava Maharaj.
Yes. Human being has thinking, feeling, willing, loving, and so forth. Not only a root and stem and branch and so forth. Maharaj, you want to say anything more?
Maharaj.
All right, I think then we'll end for today. I hate to leave you all, but what page were we on? 147.
I have.
Little moment.
Okay, yes, you want to say something? Espanol?
Maharaj, this positive immortality, how we understand?
Positive immortality?
$148. Text 15.
Okay. Okay. All right.
We just read that.
Yeah, okay.
Stop.
Positive immortality. Oh, what is that, Maharaj? What do you say?
Not getting any sound or something.
He's not getting any sound.
Maharaj, what is your explanation?
About positive and progressive immortality. I'm asking you, Maharaj.
You're asking me what positive? You know what that is better than me.
I don't know, Maharaj.
You don't know?
I'm thinking about it.
Positive immortality means the spiritual world.
Why positive is there? Because we are cultivating the negative. Surrender.
The negative is attracted by the positive. So when you're negative, the positive will be there to come to you. Pastimes, Lila. Those are going on. But we can't see them in the negative world, in our world, because we make the positive the world. We see the world as the positive. And we try to negate that. That's called subjectivity. If we submit to the positive world, the real positive, the spiritual world, that's what I would say. Positive, progressive. Progressive means, in the spiritual sense, means to enter further into the devotional platform. The serving.
Limitless. Progressive means limitless.
Yes.
Because here is some limit is there.
Krishna says, yeah. Krishna says, Yayatamam prapadyante. So he's giving something. I reward them, he says. Yayatamam prapadyante. Tam's the time of bhajamyaham. So he's giving something. We are giving our surrender, and he is giving something to us himself. And not They're not negative in that sense. No?
Yes, Maharaja.
As we progress and surrender, positive and progressive immortality. Anyhow, positive immortality. Died to
But something I was thinking about Sridhara Maharaj, that explanation about Jesus. He told, some people asked him that like Christians say that that is the best, Jesus is the best, or something like that. So then Sridhar Maharaj asked, is Jesus is still progressing or his progress is finished? That's what he had asked. So means progressive means the spiritual dynamics is never ending thing. Like Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana that devotee never accepts a defeat. Means in the sense that he has not satisfied by his present state of surrender and service. He always wants, to enhance that. And Krishna is also not satisfied by his present, service, state that he is getting from the Lord. He wants more, higher service. So in this way, nobody accepting defeat. So down dynamic play is going on between Lord and his devotees. So the progressive thing is understood, and it seems that positive means, as you told, that is Krishna is there with the surrender.
Okay. Good point to stop on and to think about for the rest of the week until we meet again. Okay. Huh?
I think Harinanda wanted to translate something.
You want to translate something, Harinanda?
Yes, Maharaja. A second. Prabhu, el Maharaja estaba hablando de que estaban hablando temas bastante complicados, ¿no? Primero que nada hablaban del Prapanna Jivanamrita, decía, si Krishna es el emporio de todas las es el emporio de todas las razas, es la fuente absoluta del Brahman indiferenciado, con el cual desean fusionarse los buscadores de la liberación como su meta última. Yo soy el último, yo soy el fundamento y la fuente del Brahman y el destino supremo de aquellos que buscan la liberación, los llanos. Pero trascendental estas tres modalidades de la naturaleza y la realidad última, llena de la variedad divina y del santo nombre, la forma, la naturaleza, los asociados y los pasatiempos, la inmortalidad, la existencia imperecedera, la eternidad, la plena manifestación del prema, tienen su expresión más estática en Brindavan. Todo esto se expresa plenamente en mí, con variedad trascendental en mi forma de Krishna. El Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Y el Maharaja estaba explicando un poco acerca de otra vez del dinamismo y de lo que es el progreso. Es algo dinámico. El progreso significa dinamismo, y estaba hablando de que el lado positivo representa la mortalidad y el lado negativo representa la inmortalidad, y el Maharaja estaba explicando que eso lo decía muy bien Srila Bhakti Raksha de Goswami Maharaj, hablaba acerca de esos temas. Pero también decía que en resumen que todo ese progreso que se da es por seguir todo progreso. Tú puedes hacer progreso si tienes rendición, Saranagati, progreso y Saranagati, entonces te lleva al mundo de la inmortalidad. Esa sería la secuencia. Entonces, más o menos eso, Prabhu.
Gracias, Raúl.
Prabhu, a little comment in WhatsApp for Maharaj.
All progress is dynamic. It is not static. And in this sense, in some moments of that dynamism, it is necessary to make changes because in reality, elimination is progress. It is what I have understood from Srila Sridhara Maharaj.
Die to live, huh? By dying, we live. Govinda Maharaj said that means service, serving. Serving seems to be a negative thing, but serving is a positive thing, something we have to do.
The Sridhar Maharaj also told, Kripa means Kore Baba. Mercy means that which you get by doing.
Dhanyavad Prabhus. Jai Srila Santa Maharaj ki jai. Jai todos devotos ki jai. Riva jai.
Santa Maharaj and Indita, this with present to me. And Indita, present to me. And no like this present. No, I don't know why.
Haribo, Haribo. Be well.